Welcome, everyone. This is the Ends Justify the Memes, the show where the lowest of the low, that is the most wretched of wretched, and deplorable to end all deplorables, two white, heterosexual Christian males from the American South who talk about philosophy, history, health, fitness, and what it means to be a man in the 21st century. I'll be your host, Bill. My co-host and slash semi-producer, button pusher, is not here today. He had to work late. So I'll be soloing it. So folks, grab yourself a beer and lend us your ear because the ends always justify the memes. All right. So I see, Val, you're complaining of how late and gay I am, and I am late and gay today because, working many hours and was here, worked on the show all day, but, have a baby and stuff, have a daughter, has a job, has her license finally, but hasn't locked down a car or anything yet, and we're not getting a new car anytime soon. So yeah, things had to distract me, put me about half an hour behind today. Unfortunately, I generally up until recently, I've had the show done about 30 to 45 minutes before. Rarely have I ever gotten the show done in like an hour or so before. Not since my daughter has been, a crazy crawler, climber, all that stuff. In any case, without further ado, guys, it's just me and the solo show, so let's hope that this works out well. But we are going to do some Memecast news. Society is collapsing all around us, and I'm just here. Can I offer you a nice meme in this trying time? And it's always, see, this is the thing about doing the show without this. There's no laugh for me. It's not as much joy with the laughter of Tank or whomever else. But yeah, I mean, this is what we need to do. We have to laugh. We have to have levity, right? When you have the perfect meme for a situation, but you have to search through 800 plus memes to archive or meme archives. Yeah, and this is me every show. This was my day. I probably had 500 some odd memes to break down. But guys, today's going to be a spectacular show. We had the State of the Union, and of course that means I get to do a meme Boogaloo. State of the Disunion 2022. A meme Boogaloo. A lot of memes today with no Tank. That was another reason why I took longer, is because I made sure I packed the show. And of course, this was Joe Biden earlier being asked about Ukraine.
Do you believe Putin would use a nuclear weapon?
Mr. President, are you worried about nuclear war?
All right. I'm slow on the draw here. Oh, okay. It's because it's a bunch of videos. See, I have to have several things up. It's a little easier when I can get Tank to distract and talk and stuff. So Joe Biden, the POTUS, the commander-in-chief. Here we see him at his desk in a reflection. What a lovely, lovely photo there. Let's see what that really is about, though. You guys know this? As above, so below. It's an occult kind of thing. It's kind of interesting, kind of weird. But you know what? I shouldn't talk so much trash about Joe Biden. He's a decent guy. He doesn't leave mean tweets. Remember? He's a good guy. He's going to bring decency back to the White House.
I ran for president, really and truly. And even my supporters were not critical of, but thought the reasons I laid out why I was running, maybe they weren't such a good idea. I said I was running for three reasons from the very beginning. One, to restore the soul of America. This idea of decency, honor, treating people with respect, literally treating people with respect. What a stupid son of a bitch. Oh shit! Literally treating people with respect.
Literally. And of course, we know what such a wonderful job he has done in office.
President Biden put more effort into getting infrastructure passed, for example?
Well, he got infrastructure passed, and that's a good thing because success can breed success. He is putting the full force of the presidency behind it. I think the problem for the Democrats right now is not that they have bad leaders. They have bad followers.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's not that they have bad leaders. They have bad followers.
Oh my God.
Bad followers.
There's no such thing. Good leaders inspire people to follow them. But, you know, I mean, I think we can all agree that Joe Leader is one of the greatest ever. Joe Biden is the greatest leader ever. Like, look at how the news covers him and the upcoming State of the Union address. He must be wonderful.
They have been taken and no arrests have been made.
A 71-year-old man is accused of inappropriately touching a 12-year-old.
Oh, you guys probably aren't going to be able to hear this because I can't hear it. Oh, never mind. Let me see.
Girl at the Walmart in West Mifflin Sunday afternoon. According to
Let me play that again.
What may have been taken and no arrests have been made.
a 71-year-old man is accused of inappropriately touching a 12-year-old girl at the Walmart in West Mifflin Sunday afternoon.
His face it says it all. It was the best. Hey guys, if at any point during the show, let me know where the volume is at on things, right? Because I'm not really listening back to it, and don't really have any means to know what StreamYards is doing in the background because they do weird things. All right. So, if you guys didn't know, yesterday was the State of the Union address. So, let's get ready to mumble! And it looks something like this. Or, you know, I mean, maybe that's a little harsh, right? Maybe it's a little bit better. I think that's a little bit more accurate. If Ralph Wiggum was a old man, it's you know, but I don't know. I've never heard Ralph Wiggum running around saying my butt's been wiped or whatever Joe Biden said. I don't want to spread fake news. So see how for me this is agony, guys. Those of you watching, I don't have Tank to bounce this off of. It's one thing over on All-1. It's another thing doing this here. But I'll do it. I'll try to see if Big Nick could come on because I thought he would be the most free person. So, you know, if we got someone brave in the chat, I know gets on streams every now and again or has their own stream. Hey, mention it. I'll bring you in and we'll see how it goes, right? Parents wanting to unmask their children are selfish starter kit. Pretty much. And so let's hear what the old POTUS had to say.
Because you can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. The vaccine can stop the spread of these diseases.
Can't build that wall high enough to keep out the vaccines. I know, man. I wish I could. I keep trying, but the vaccines keep getting in. It's insane. And of course, this is not the only misspeak he had. As we know, the president is quite fond of misspeaking and saying interesting, made-up new words. And he referred to this current situation in the Eastern European area around, you know, Ukraine and Russia, that whole thing. I don't know if you heard of that. He talked about it last night in his speech quite clearly.
Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people.
Never gain the strength of the heart and souls of the Iranian people. And by the way, what's this magical all of a sudden that everybody in the club get together and decide that we're just going to no longer use the pronunciation that I've always known for Kiev, which is the Russian pronunciation. Mind you, it's not the... no, it's not any better. Sorry, guys, fiddling. But yeah, the Ukrainian pronunciation, they're both Slavic languages. They're very similar, but, it's Kyiv. And all of a sudden, that's all I hear. I've never heard anyone refer to Kiev as Kyiv before until this past week. Let's see old Kamala's face on that one. I mean, it's pretty good.
He may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and he will never weaken the resolve of the free world.
You thought the goal is to get more views and subs? I don't know. What did I say about a goal earlier? I don't know. I'm here to have fun, but I always want to get more views and subs. That actually, is a good thing because then I can focus more on this stuff, right? Which would be great. Be great. In any case, what else did he have to? What else happened here? Let's see.
The American Rescue Plan helped working people and left no one behind. Folks,
Good old Schumer jumping the gun there.
it worked.
Must have had a copy of that sitting around, right? I think he just didn't understand the rules of the slow clap.
The American Rescue Plan helped working people.
You can't just start a slow clap at any old time. You gotta wait for the right moment.
Yeah, everybody knows that. What's up? Oh, I missed one here. This old Kamala's face. Good Lord. It's like the Berenstain versus Berenstein thing. Yeah. Anyways. Let's see.
What did Pelosi?
We have Nancy Pelosi about, flying off her broomstick.
What did Pelosi?
Very, very powerful moments here, folks. And then Biden decided to talk about the soldiers that have served, the very soldiers that potentially could be going off to war today, to Ukraine to establish the New World Order and nothing else.
A cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin. I know.
And if you didn't know, that was Lord Beaupart that addressed that.
And they come home. Many of the world's fittest and best trained warriors in the world. Never the same. Headaches, numbness, dizziness. A cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin. I know. One of those.
Oh, you named the number. Anyways, so that wasn't the only misstep, of course, any of that stuff there. I meant to bring this up earlier too, but again, like I said, got this show together last minute. But of course, Chuck Schumer didn't just almost start a slow clap at the inappropriate time, but he seemed to have a very lovely date with him. So, I feel like Austin Powers, that's a man, baby. Of course, we have our old Barney Rubble here. Oh, man. And this was another one I wanted to throw in there with Nancy's face when she went to jump up to clap. So, anyways, yeah. This is why I like the slides thing. I can get that going on. It'd be great. So Joe Biden then ended his lovely, lovely State of the Union speech with the most eloquent finish I've ever heard in my life.
And we will, as one people, one America, the United States of America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Go get him.
Go get him. Maybe he still thinks let's go Brandon as a thing and go get him the short version of that. It's just insane. Val says, I think more people should interrupt. It confuses him. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, I mean, when you're talking about walls and then all of a sudden switching gear to vaccines, and I didn't watch it either, Val. I watched the beginning or listened to it on my way home from work last night, and once I got in, I didn't want to listen to it because I didn't get off till like 12:30 at night. So, and then I just didn't have time today. So, whatever. I don't really care. It's going to be a bunch of platitudes. I've already seen reporting on it. I've seen plenty of clips. It's a bunch of nonsense. He's got the lowest approval rating of all time. And of course, we had that little exchange the other year with the Democrats and how they treated Trump and whatever else. And of course, Lauren Boebert and people like her and Marjorie Taylor Greene are, well, they're out there basically doing the same thing the Democrats have been doing to Republicans, which, I mean, good. At some point, the Republicans have to get a spine. And so this was a controversy today. I don't think I'd clap for the guy either. He's a clown. So as far as total numbers go, it's going to have to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers, 35,000 watching live, 26,000 watching live. Of course, they have the Trump's underneath there. Even the UN speech had many more. I know that was months ago. Most people don't watch these things in the millions after they happen, long after they happen. They usually watch them immediately. And there seemed to be a lot of trumpeting of Trump, apparently, last night. At least that's what a lot of the pundits are saying. So to be clear, the Biden supporters now have to flip on 3/4 of everything they rail against with Trump to agree with Biden's Soto last night, State of the Union address. I don't know. You got to wonder, though. I'm going to show you some clips here in a minute, and you got to wonder what's really going on with Biden and all that, too. Like, when is he going to be out? Because do you really think he's going to keep going? Are they really going to let him keep going? Is he going to be able to? I mean, it seems to me that his health is getting worse and worse as it goes. And it's only going to take one good slip off the stairs of Air Force One before, he cracks his head really bad and has to be hospitalized. And then we get Kamala Harris. And I don't know if we want that turd. So I'll let you understand why I say that, because she has to basically be the most disingenuous person I have ever seen in that office. It's abhorrent. It's obscene. And I'm going to point this out. She tells a joke that's not really a joke, and she knows it's not really a joke. and she can't pull it off. The cringe face that she's making here, because of what Joe Biden said, she knows that they are in a bad position, a laughing stock, and people see right through her. She's not comfortable with it. This is why Kamala is so cringe. I was saying to my wife about this earlier. Even Hillary Clinton, even though she's cringe, she's nowhere near Kamala level. Everyone understands that, Hillary's semi-okay at faking being human. So let's play this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the I just said that to make you laugh. The Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Because as we all know, elections matter. And when folks vote, they order what they want, and in this case, they got what they asked for. I went off script a little bit.
Bruh.
And I don't even see that. I mean, I'll script a little bit. Like, what the hell is that? This is a better edit.
And when folks vote, they order what they want, and in this case, they got what they asked for. I went off script a little bit.
This is someone trying to be relatable and cool and whatever. And I can't stand people like this. It's fake. Anytime I'm around it from anybody, it really gets under my skin. I can't stand it. But leading up to the Ukraine debacle, right? She had these statements to make, and just listen again to what she's saying, how she's saying it, how it's coming across, her emotion, her genuineness. Listen.
Listen, guys, we're talking about the potential for war in Europe. I mean, let's really take a moment to understand the significance of what we're talking about. It's been over 70 years. And through those 70 years, as I mentioned yesterday, there has been peace and security. We are talking about the real possibility of war in Europe. So our position is for us very clear, which is as a leader, which we have been, bringing together the allies, working together around our collective and unified position, that we would all not just prefer, we desire, we believe it is in the best interest of all that there is a diplomatic end.
All right, that's enough of that. I know it's quiet, guys. Sorry if you guys can't hear it. So she's giving this thing, oh, war might happen in Europe. And, oh, this is the thing. Now, I want you to listen to this.
Any level of news, even social media, you're seeing everything that's going on right now in the Ukraine. Break it down in layman's terms for people who don't understand what's going on and how can this directly affect the people of the United States.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
So basically, that's wrong. Ukraine is a country in Europe, kiddies. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia's a bigger country, so it's bad. Russia is a powerful country, so it's bad. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. Basically, that's wrong. I don't know. It's like, she's talking to people as if they're 5 years old, and she thinks that's acceptable.
if Willie Harris didn't take care of her, I don't know if she would be anywhere today. Mind you, this is what's going on. But as this goes on, as the coup fades off into the dark recesses of every NPC's memory core, we're going to have war in the Eastern European regions, and maybe world war and nuclear war and everything else. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think so, but the New World Order, they're pretty mad. I mean, listen to this.
Military has begun a brutal assault on the people of Ukraine without provocation, without justification, without necessity, outlandish and baseless claims that Ukraine was prepared to use chemical weapons without any evidence.
Condemn this barbaric attack.
It is an atrocity for Ukraine's over 40 million innocent citizens and for the world.
We can't have some suggestion that Russia has some just case here. They're behaving like thugs and bullies, and they should be called out as thugs and bullies.
These sanctions are designed to take a heavy toll on the Kremlin's interests and their ability to finance war.
Liberty, democracy, human dignity, these are the forces far more powerful than fear and oppression. They cannot be extinguished by tyrants like Putin and his armies.
What did I say, Osis? I thought I said Willie Brown. Don't expect me to get anyone's name right ever, by the way, folks. I have a terrible tendency of not being able to get anyone's name right unless I know them. And even if I know them, there's two guys I work with. I keep calling the one guy the other guy, and I know they're not the same person. They don't look the same. I don't know why I do it. In any case, this is why I will never be, big time YouTuber or on CNN or anything like that either. Here's Biden's amazing war strategies. Working hard at it. And of course, the reality is this is really embarrassing because Biden has ties in the Ukraine, right? He's got money there and ties in China too. And, Trump was the Russian colluder. So let's see what old Tucker had to say about this the other day.
Of Ukraine is a humiliating defeat for Joe Biden. He's our leader. He staked this country's reputation, billions of dollars, and the full force of the U.S. government on preventing Vladimir Putin from invading Ukraine. Less than 6 months ago, Biden oversaw an almost indescribably chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. He left American citizens behind. He armed the Taliban with advanced weapons systems on the way out. It could not have been worse. So here you have two historic foreign policy debacles in under a year. Is there a precedent for that? What's the message of it? Well, weakness, obviously, Republicans often say that, but as usual, don't go far enough. We're not simply weak. The United States government under Joe Biden is ridiculous. It's pompous, it's self-involved, it's long-winded and fatuous. It's not so different from the fading old man who leads it.
I don't know. I think that was a fair assessment. I don't think that was too harsh, right? Meanwhile, CNN decided to merge its marketing and its news. Sure. I don't have the other clip. I might have had it earlier, but in any case, all this coming out is about how harsh Russia is coming down on Ukraine, and really, I think the Russians are being fairly even-handed. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sitting here rooting for Putin. I despise war. I don't want these people to die. But I also think this is a big game between two factions within a larger global order. So let's look at the last 6 or 7 days of the invasion, though. On a map. So supposedly that is all they have taken, the kind of disputed border areas that they've been disputing for a long time. Now, with that, mind you, you know, it's one of those things where there was the threat of nuclear war, and that was in there, right? Russia went on pretty high alert. However, that's the only threat that Russia actually, imposes. They don't have money, guys. You can't wage war without money. It's not possible, right? You need resources. So the idea of World War III coming is crazy. But him saying he's going to use nukes, well, we'll talk about that here in a bit. But I mean, we know what happened during the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? NATO can't creep on their back door. They've been trying to negotiate with Russia's been trying to negotiate with them forever. And guess what just happened? The UK officials in the UK were like, "Oh, you guys shouldn't be negotiating anymore," because the Ukrainians and the Russians were like, "Oh, let's sit down to a ceasefire," and people in the UK were saying, officials in the UK said, "No ceasefire. People are going to die. People have probably already died." We'll get to the fake news here in a bit. Not the real fake news we're doing, the fake news. In any case, we have Ukraine closing soon. Again, I doubt it. And the most searched topics in the world right now since February 24th. Elden Ring in Brazil, apparently. And of course, they were, I believe, remaining neutral while Switzerland was getting involved, which is absurd. But, that's how it goes. So Obama supports Ukraine, Biden supports Ukraine, Bush supports Ukraine, Macron supports Ukraine. The World Economic Forum supports Ukraine, Facebook supports Ukraine, Twitter supports Ukraine, Reddit supports Ukraine. All major European leaders support Ukraine. The same politicians who have been filling their countries with millions upon millions of Africans and Arabs for the past decades support Ukraine. The same politicians who tricked the Western population into believing there is or was an ongoing pandemic support Ukraine. The same politicians who told you that you were going to lose your job if you didn't take an experimental deadly vaccine support Ukraine. The same politicians who increased your taxes to finance mass migration of non-whites into white countries support Ukraine. The same politicians who poisoned your food supply support Ukraine. The same politicians who banned nationalist organizations in your country support Ukraine. The same politicians who are actively implementing policies to facilitate white genocide support Ukraine. All the Western news media support Ukraine. All the Western social media that bans nationalists and conservatives support Ukraine. All the Western social media that allows child pornography, blatant homosexuality, and anti-white content on their platforms support Ukraine. All the major anti-white celebrities that have told you that you're a racist for being white support Ukraine. All the major institutions of the West that have been systematically racist against whites support Ukraine. The Jews support Ukraine. And I'm going to assume this is like some groiper put this on here, but yeah. Think about that. But I'm going to talk about this and I support Ukraine because I'm somewhat of a Ukrainian Russian expert myself. And if you guys didn't know, if you want to learn a little bit about Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, he was once an actor.
The current president of Ukraine is actually an actor-producer who created a television show for himself to star in where he starred as the president of Ukraine. And then years later ran for president and won. This show started a year after the revolution in Ukraine of 2014. And here's the story. Prior to his acting career, Zelensky obtained a degree in law at the Kiev National Economic University. He then pursued comedy and created the production company Kvartal 95, which produces films, cartoons, and TV shows including Servant of the People, in which Zelensky played the role of the president of Ukraine. The series aired from 2015 to 2019 and was immensely popular. A political party bearing the same name as the television show was created in March 2018 by employees of Kvartal 95, which remember is his production company. He then announced his candidacy in 2019. A political outsider, he'd already become one of the frontrunners in opinion polls for the election. He won the election with 73.2% of the vote, identifying as a populist, positioned himself as an anti-establishment, anti-corruption figure. Share this in your story if you think it's interesting.
So, and he was also running on a unify Ukraine and Russia platform, get rid of the bad blood. And the reason why is because there's a substantial Russian ethnic minority in the Ukraine. So, very interesting. But I happen to have a piece of him on a show or something, doing something. It looks like a variety show or a performance show. I don't believe it was the television show that he was the president in. So you can see Eastern Europe's a little bit more based and a little bit not worried about being sexist or objectifying women or anything like that. It's also why the women over there take care of themselves very well. They want to be beautiful. They want to be womanly. And there is this very old tradition of that, right? It's not like here in the West where women, need to become men and boys have to cut off their dicks and become women. That's not a society that's strong. That's a society that is confused, having an identity crisis, and is about to collapse. Meanwhile, the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan is closely monitoring the situation in the Ukraine and expresses concern about the real possibility of civilian casualties. The Islamic Emirates calls for restraint by both parties. All sides need to desist from taking positions and could intensify violence, and so on and so forth. Of course, then you have NATO, the UN, Ukraine, and the I don't know what that flag is. ISIS? Wait, what are you doing here? I guess I'm just going to pull up my next meme. I didn't know what it was. Oh, okay. Yes, getting back to previous themes. They're probably not wrong, though. From David Rothschild himself. Thousands of years from now, there is going to be a Jewish holiday centered on the exploits of Zelensky. And while the details will be fuzzy and or wrong, the moral will be little Jewish girls and boys can grow up to be badass leaders of multicultural democracies. And he says, anti-Semites really digging into this tweet, casually hoping for the annihilation of all Jews, which is exactly why on our holidays we both remember and celebrate our greatest triumphs and remember and build strength from our lowest moments. I had to throw, it's David Rothschild. You're going to throw some conspiracy stuff in there. FBI investigates after Russian flag found in garage at Bubba Wallace. NASCAR's only black Ukrainian driver. Just wait, folks, it's coming. But I have a way to beat this. I stand with Ukraine and their blonde hair and blue eyes. It's on their flag. I stand with Ukraine's blonde hair and blue eyes for a whiter future. Meanwhile, the SJWs, Ukraine bombs Donbass for 8 years. Russia bombs Ukraine for 3 days. But you know, it's just NPCs. It's just, you know how it goes, guys. The NPCs, they're always out. Evidence violates community. Legendary channel name. The ends justify the memes. Well, thank you, sir. Evidence does violate community guidelines. You're absolutely right. This channel tends to be safe because we are a comedy show, although my co-host is not here today. So we have the NPCs switching out their COVID chips, but some of them did not receive the update. Don't worry, they'll be updated by the next morning. And of course, we all know that they are original thinkers. They completely don't go along with whatever's on the news or whatever their dear leaders say, or, you know, the right think is. They're completely free in thought. They're not in a cult whatsoever. Daddy, what did you do when the state took all our freedoms and rights away? I called anyone who questioned it a conspiracy theorist and clapped like a monkey. There's going to be a lot of people you know, I'm sure. A lot of people I know. I try and tell them. You know, you can't cast your pearls before swine. The state gives pure privilege to men. Women are subjugated by men. Male privilege. Women are oppressed by patriarchy. Men between 18 and 60 years old. To the battlefront, forced conscription. Women should be sheltered and rescued as soon as possible. Yep. And here we have MSN's fake news from 2016 to 2021. You don't believe everything MSN is reporting about Ukraine? This is obviously ridiculous. But if you hadn't heard, the canceling is going on, folks. The canceling is going on. Already, from the Post-Millennial, a restaurant in Quebec announced that they will be removing the word poutine from its menu due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Sounds too close to Putin. Mind you, poutine is like, I don't know, that like what's like the #1 snack food here? Like Taco Bell or something? Like up there in Quebec, poutine is the thing. That's what you get when you're drunk. Everybody gets down on it. I like it. It's tasty. And of course, Vodka Rebellion. Bars, liquor stores in U.S., Canada say no to Russian famous export. I literally watched a couple videos of this, but for the sake of time, I'm going to get rid of my Russian vodka I already paid for. Freaking idiots. Idiots! Chicken Kiev to Chicken Kyiv. Supermarkets called on to rename dish to support of Ukraine. So I didn't get a memo, right? Because all of a sudden, one day, everyone was talking about Ukraine and Kiev, and over the weekend or something, all of a sudden, everyone says Kyiv. They use the Ukrainian pronunciation. But yeah, there's no like top-down like brainwashing program going on trying to manufacture consensus, is there? Nah, I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. But you know what? You know what? Who I really feel bad for? I feel bad for the Russians because Adidas halts tracksuit sales in Russia. Just oh, them poor Russians. They're not Putin, man. Don't punish them, Adidas. Meanwhile, Anastasia is removed from Disney Plus. Are we living in the most retarded times in history? Yes, we are. Yes, it is an absolute clown world, folks. We all know this. It's the collapse of our civilization. Another a-hole. What does Uncle Ted not approve? Uh-oh. I lost my meme spot. It's all right. You guys are hanging there for the dead air. Man, it's a lot of memes. You guys are getting a good show tonight. This might be the best show I've ever done. Probably not, but here we go. Back at the right spot. Tank's absence. Okay, I got you. Uncle Ted does not approve of Tank's absence. Well, I don't know, man. At 4 or something, he texts me and he's like, "I can't do the show. I'm working late." I was like, "All right." I got 3 eyes over on Entropy. It looks like one of them's me though, because let's keep that one open. All right, on with the memes. So, in a glorious opportunity to profit on tragedy, as an effort to help people in Ukraine during the Ukrainian invasion, I will be having a sale on my OnlyFans at 50% off for everyone in Ukraine. Okay. I was on Instagram, one of the places I get memes from, right, this morning, and saw a thing for winning a cabin out in the Ozarks. And I thought, man, that's sweet. Take a cabin in the Ozarks. I don't know if I'd live in the Ozarks. I'd probably just sell it, but and then of course it was worth $2 million. There was a cash prize of $1 million or something like that. So yeah, I'd sell it, taxes, right? Or take the cash prize. Let me build my cabin here in West Virginia. But yeah, the proceeds were like you bought raffle tickets. The proceeds were for Ukrainians. So, there'll be a Hollywood song soon enough. Guys, Putin can block Instagram in Russia next day. Sub to my Telegram. Whoever this is, I don't know. If you live in Ukraine, I'm doing my bit to help you all out, and I'm offering a 50% discount on my OnlyFans content. Even in these dark times, you can have some happiness. Milking the conflict in Ukraine to promote an e-girl, Russian leader states that he'll surrender all weapons if Korean model promises to hold hands with him. No, I doubt it. But, again, NPCs, folks. COVID is too important to allow disinformation. We can't have free speech. And now it's going to be, Ukraine's too important to allow disinformation. We can't have free speech. Because the only principle they hold is the principle of power. And the principle of power is might makes right. If I have the might to take it, then I am right to take it. People were asking, who are you siding with? Like there's a freaking... I'm not siding with anybody, but I understand Russia's complaints. I can tell you that. And it's actually horrifying how easily and quickly Americans are getting programmed by the media to want to program each other over a conflict thousands of miles away that has literally nothing to do with them. And mind you, in centuries of history, millennia, but the New World Order, that whole thing, the global government, they can't allow anyone to get out of line. They have to control every little nation. They can't decide that they can't work with both people. They don't do anything. It's just fall in line, or we back the one who does. Except for Russia's got a lot of nukes, and Putin knows that, and so they're not going to be Libya, guys. You're not going to like this, but your outrage at Russia is not real. It was put there by people who know you better than you do yourself. And that is absolutely 100% true, because those people who fall for this crap are nothing but persona. There have been dozens of wars with millions of casualties in the last 20 years, and you didn't care about any of them until you were told to. My daughter got some of my books today that were lower. It's funny, she was chewing on old Karl Marx, and I let her because I don't really care if I don't have that book. But this was Gore Vidal's a lefty, but this was a great little book, a collection of his articles. Very anti-war lefty. Great book that spurred me on to being anti-war and more toward the classical liberal libertarian side of things than where I was at the time as a young man. Read that like right as soon as I got out of the Marine Corps. I saw it at a bookstore and I was like, oh, no, this looks interesting. Just got back from Iraq. If you find yourself hating Russia more than communist China, even though China unleashed COVID or the world killing millions, then you might be a victim of propaganda. Yeah. But I support the current thing because I'm stunning and brave. I'm brave to act just like everybody else. And I'm a unique snowflake at the same time. Meanwhile, in NPC land, no civilian needs an AR-15 regardless of whatever mental gymnastics you do. You are a very special breed of stupid. Thanks, Occupy Democrats. Oh, wait, what? That's not true anymore? Breaking. Ukraine's interior minister announces that 10,000 automatic rifles have been handed out to every civilian of Kiev as they prepare to fight tooth and nail to defend their home against Putin's invasion. Retweet if you stand for the brave Ukrainian people. Yeah. But that wasn't a really good deal. You really shouldn't own weapons if you don't know how to use them. Like I got a really cool knife recently. It's like pretty sweet, I like this thing. It's kind of cheap. It's very thin. It's lightweight. Smaller than a lot of knives I carry. But if you're not careful, something like that'll cut you really bad. You hurt yourself. In fact, I have a lot of training. And I filleted my hand some years ago. I was like in my 20s, very early, very young, just being dumb with a knife. It's like, and it was just me being careless. And the Ukrainians are handing out firearms. I received my Ukrainian-issued fully automatic AK-47 smuggled back to me, back with me to the U.S. You receive myself with no combat experience on the Warsaw plane. Or, yeah, the next plane to Warsaw. That's that dyslexia thing. These people are getting firearms and all, and which sounds awesome, but they're really just going to get hurt by professional soldiers. And then they're going to be used as propaganda. And anyways, I don't know. This is probably how they're feeling, though.
Oh, man. These guys are like a SEAL Team 6, huh? Maybe even like 7.5. Natural born killers, huh? For reals, though, how long until they become like actual army? Like 2, 3 hours?
2, 3 hours? Not long at all. And here's just proof.
Thank you very much indeed for keeping Ukraine in a top and deliver the truth about the Russian aggression in Ukraine and about how brave and heroic is Ukrainian to protect our soil, to protect our future, to protect our freedom and our democracy. We are in the center of Kiev. We are
Wait a minute.
Center of Kiev. We are here to protect Ukraine, and the Russian position is about a little bit more than 2 kilometers from here. This is very difficult to explain. What does it mean in the 21st century, in the middle of Europe? We are in the center of Kiev. We are
Meanwhile, we have Miss Ukraine herself strapping up with an airsoft gun to go fight the Russians. I mean, the amount of propaganda and ridiculousness that's coming out of this already. We're a week into this war, into this conflict. Ukrainian father crying as he hugged his daughter with actually a pro Russian rebellion in Donbass prepared to fight Nazi, yada yada yada. The list is there, but what I'm going to show you, I'm going to go through quick. But is the debunking of all the fake news that was out there that already came around. India's defense forces shared video claiming Russian military paratroopers landed in Ukraine. However, it's an old clip from online since 2016. Every time there's a conflict, social media users misleadingly share clips online. War game, Arma 3. A video game. This video being shared on TikTok alongside the claim that a soldier is live recording the war. One comment reads, "Bro, this recording is recording an invasion." The same video has been posted on Instagram in 2016 by the same user. Theater, folks. Theater. I'm not saying people aren't getting hurt or there isn't actual fighting. What I'm saying is that you are being brought a lot of theater. And I don't just mean on the Twitter sphere. It's on the MSNs too. This agency France press photo from Gaza, Palestine, taken on May 10th, 2021 is unrelated. So, yeah, it says Russia sends missile to Ukraine. Graphic video of soldiers burning after explosion is an old one circulating online since at least 2015. This is an old image published in an online article in 2019 and is from Ukraine, but it is not recent. This is Pakistan's Urdu news channel, Hum TV, shares a clip of video game Arma 3 in their bulletin. So India and Pakistan both did that, right? The other one was India, I think. Oh, no, he's just saying it was online. Okay. That's right. India shared paratrooper video that wasn't real. Yeah. This video is from 2020 in Beirut, Lebanon. Another Indian news channel, Z News, shared a video claiming Russian fighter jets flying over Ukraine. This video of Russian military paratroopers landing in Ukraine has been online since 2016. This is an old image of a mid-air collision between a Russian MiG-29 in the UK in 1993. From 2014, from a pro-Russian rally in Ukraine. So why does all this need to be debunked and put out there if there's real hardcore stuff going on, right? I mean, all this stuff is just a bunch of nonsense, and all the while the fact checkers, they're just totally chill, just totally chill, sleeping on the job. And this is kind of how I feel anymore. When it's 2022 and people still believe the media, oh, for fuck's sakes. You know, it's like that normie friend, and you realize he learned nothing from the last 2 years of corporate media BS propaganda, right? I mean, it blows my mind. It blows my mind, and especially seemingly intelligent people when it comes to other things. They have broken BS detectors, though. The news used to tell you that something happened. Then you had to decide what you thought about it. Now the news tells you about, now the news tells you how to think about something, and you have to decide if it even happened in the first place, right? what if I told you that our national news stories are carefully orchestrated psychological manipulation tools and manufacturing your consent? Because that's what they are, 100%. And almost all media is. I mean, in part of the media I make is not consent though, but opinion. Now I leave a lot of stuff open because I actually want to have an open discourse and dialogue with people and figure things out. But people are going to present their bias. We're not getting straight news. You know this. And those who work for legacy media are heavily involved with the government, CIA, the New World Order, the globalists, the UN, all that stuff. I mean, it is what it is, folks. What's the next false flag? Economic collapse, World War III, cyber attack, alien invasion. Find out soon on the next season that the world is run by psychopaths. Wouldn't that be a great TV show, though? Just make it. Just make it just like make all the characters exactly the same, get actors for everybody, but then just, you know, have them behind the scenes. That whole thing. Did they skip over the HIV narrative for war instead, or are they going to pick it back up after? Then climate change after that? I need to play my memes, folks. I do. It's hard to get by, you know? And only because there's just so many memes. And the show is all about planning the memes. I mean, I started late today because of the meme planning. It's an intensive process. It really is. And you guys have to understand that I have a deep passion to do this and to provide you with the real fake news every week at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I apologize for that lateness. But I have the dankest memes. So let's get to the actual real fake news right here. These are real stories from Ukraine. That really happened in Ukraine, folks. A TIE fighter fell. Let's watch it again. A Russian TIE fighter fell, and they had to send stormtroopers out. Make sure that no one picked it up. And meanwhile, the Ghost of Kiev has a name and has absolutely owned the Russian Air Force. Godspeed and more kills. Samuli. That is from Adam Kinzinger. Kinzinger, can I speak? A congressman, a dimwit apparently. But hey, you know, it's not like they're the brightest. They just like the money, and they like the fame. Ask Nancy Pelosi. So, Ukrainian ace fighter pilot known as Ghost of Kiev, real name Samily Hyde, a 36-year-old who was identified as a MiG-29 pilot accredited to downing 6 Russian jets. The government is not only using memes in their arguments in Congress, they are now falling for the memes. I mean, they've been falling for the memes for a long time, but often I feel they would weaponize them, right? You know, like the okay. But no, the meme magic is real. It is more than that. Of course, they've identified the Ghost of Kiev. He's Ukrainian pilot, Oven Wilskachevich of Livy. Retweet and show he has your support. God bless. And of course, that wasn't true either. You guys might remember that late 90s movie. I can't even remember the name of it. Is it Enemy Line or it's not Enemy Line? It's not Enemy of the State because that's Will Smith. It came out around a similar time. In any case, it might have been 2000. It might have been 2001-ish. I know I was still with my girlfriend from high school, and I was in the Marine Corps. So, I mean, she was in college. I was in the Marine Corps kind of thing, right? Because I remember going to see it with her. I just can't remember the name of the movie. Anyways, let's keep moving. The Ghost of Kiev is reported to be a man known as Fentanyl Floyds. And Nigerian university student turned Ukrainian insurgent seen sabotaging Russian military installation has now been labeled the jogger of Karkaroff. And more heroes. Pictured here is the unknown Ukrainian freedom fighter who slowed down an entire division of Russian infantry by allowing them to each have their way with his wife. For his heroism, he has been dubbed the Cuck of Kiev. And pictured here is an unidentified Ukrainian freedom fighter who defended an entire company of Russian soldiers by giving them AIDS. He is dubbed the Fluffer Boy of Azov. And they are calling him Captain Molotov. He has single-handedly provided more empty bottles to anyone in Kiev. Behind enemy lines. That's it. See, I don't know why behind didn't stick with me. There's a bunch of like big old like rooting for the military leading up seriously to 9/11 and through 9/11. I literally think that they were trying to psyop and program young boys. You guys remember the Samuel L. Jackson movie? I can't think of the name of that either. It's not really a good movie, but Samuel L. Jackson is a Marine commander. He's a captain or something like that. And no, he can't be a captain. He's like a colonel. And he has a bunch of, he's attacked in the Middle East somewhere, I don't know. And they end up shooting, a bunch of civilians or something. And he was set up, but he goes and screams at him. He says, "Waste the motherfuckers," whatever it is. And I remember that specifically because that had been around. The Rock was around. We watched those movies all the time when I was in the infantry. It's like a bunch of dumb young kids. And I swear we don't have that kind of propaganda coming out today. You notice that? I mean, a lot of you guys are a lot younger than I am. Not all of you. I'm pretty sure Osis is an old bastard like me. Only known photo of the unidentified guerrilla fighter, known for his ability to disappear in the dark forest after leading daring night raids against Russian invaders. The locals have dubbed him the Spook of Kiev. And here we have Nigerian-Ukrainian team has spot and got over 15 Russian insurgents in the heartland of Ukraine. The locals have named him the beatboxer of Kiev. This may look like a normal pet, but this dog has over 85 confirmed sniper kills all over Odessa. This dog has caused so much damage to the Russian military that they are hastily pushing to the front line anti-K9 units, all which have been killed so far by this unlikely warrior. To his owners, he is known as Alexander, but to his countrymen, he is known as the Wolf of Odessa, and he is on the hunt. Oh man, I lost a meme. I had one with a cat I forgot all about, or somehow I didn't get in here. Unless it's out of order. Dagnabbit. Oh well. You guys, you might get this one. You might remember. Ukrainian man keeps driving by Russian soldier shouting obscenities at them. He has caused multiple artillery missiles to miss their intended target. Russians are dubbing this random Ukrainian heckler the cunt of Kiev. You jackass! Old Happy Gilmore. But guys, I want to believe. I want to believe these things are happening. I want to believe that the badassery is continuing. But what is certain is that none of this happened under Donald Trump, right? It was like the Russian invasion Ukraine cycle Barack Obama, no! Donald Trump, hold. Sleepy Joe, no! You know, and Opasaki was asked about oil and coming, to America because it's awfully strange that the Ukrainians have oil reserves. Russia has massive reserves, and massive nation with natural resources all over. Much like the United States, could be self-sustaining probably, but they'd rather leave it in reserve and get what's in Ukraine, I think, and that's kind of what some people are a little bit disturbed about here. But we'll talk about that some more.
What this actually justifies, in President Biden's view, is the fact that we need to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, on oil in general, and we need to look at other ways of having energy in our country and others. One of the interesting things, George, we've seen over the last week or so is that a number of European countries are recognizing they need to reduce their own reliance on Russian oil.
Sorry, guys, I had to pour myself a glass of water because I'm starting to get parched. And I didn't want you guys to hear the squeaky tin I had it in. Aluminum, or as those British fellows say, aluminium, or whatever they say. Yeah. Buying 5,000 barrels of Russian oil every day, pouring out Russian vodka bottles you already bought. Yeah. And of course, this didn't happen under Trump. We know this, right? But hey, the news was fact checked. Maria Barda-Roma was fact checked as fake news. We have doubled our oil imports from Russia in the last year. Mostly false, says PolitiFact. Now the oil is in parentheses there because, well, she didn't say oil. She said doubled our imports. That's all she said. But according to PolitiFact, it's mostly false because the most recent data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration shows that the U.S. increased its oil imports from Russia by about 28% in the first 11 months of 2021. The U.S. did double the amount of crude oil imported from Russia last year, but Russia accounts for only 3% of overall U.S. crude oil imports. So fact check, what? The U.S. did not double oil imports from Russia last year. If you're short on time, the U.S. did double the amount of crude oil imports from Russia last year. Are you beginning to feel like Winston in 1984? Is that just me? Anybody else? And again, people still fall for this. Their BS detector is quite low.
It's very sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia. So we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting all of these countries. And then numerous of the countries go out and make a pipeline deal with Russia, where they're paying billions of dollars into the coffers of Russia. So we're supposed to protect you against Russia, but they're paying billions of dollars to Russia, and I think that's very inappropriate. And the former chancellor of Germany is the head of the pipeline company that's supplying the gas. Ultimately, Germany will have almost 70% of their country controlled by Russia with natural gas. So you tell me, is that appropriate?
Hey, you guys still with me? Knock Bill right out the stream. I know. It's like all the time. It's so crazy. Let me get my stuff back up because when it basically I lost all control. I couldn't control anything. Let's see. Window share. No, screen share. What am I doing? Okay, that's one thing. Now I got to get, figure out where I was at. Get my videos uploaded. Do. Right here we are. All right, so I was talking here about the old, the old Donald T, the old Donald Trump. Donald Trump keeping the Nord Stream 2 locked up. He was trying to do lots of stuff. Let's listen to what he had to say about Russia, the supposed Russian hack, the supposed Russian insider. These are all the things the Democrats are saying right now, mind you. They're saying Tucker Carlson and the right are rooting for Putin. I might start rooting for Putin just so the left will shut up. I mean, but I don't like the idea of war. It's the thing. It's the thing. Anyways, let's listen to old Trumpsky.
It's very sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia. So we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting all of these countries, and then numerous of the countries go out and make a pipeline deal with Russia, where they're paying billions of dollars into the coffers of Russia. So we're supposed to protect you against Russia, but they're paying billions of dollars to Russia, and I think that's very inappropriate. And the former chancellor of Germany is the head of the pipeline company that's supplying the gas. Ultimately, Germany will have almost 70% of their country controlled by Russia with natural gas. So you tell me, is that appropriate? I mean, I've been complaining about this from the time I got in. It should have never been allowed to have happened.
Yeah, that's because it's all part of the global order, buddy. It's a way to bring them in, and it's a way to blame Russia as the evil bad guy while they shut all of your access down. And that's what's going on right now. That's what's going on. But Russia had Trump as their stooge. No, I don't think so. If you're an insane person who believes propaganda, media, sure. But there was no evidence, and I'm sure those people still believe, despite the basically the Obama administration and the Clintons now being found out to have been spying on Trump, as he said. So, of course, if I help Putin, then why did I try to cancel Nord Stream 2 and arm Ukrainians against Russia? Yeah, why is that? These things don't seem to add up now, do they? It's almost like there might be a conspiracy afoot. That came out well. Conspiracy afoot. It's a foot. All right, let's see. Let's see where I'm at here. Oh, and here's and here's Trump talking about it again, right?
Russia invaded Georgia. Under Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under Biden, Russia invaded Ukraine. I stand as the only president of the 21st century on whose watch Russia did not invade another country.
Yeah. I think that's a reality. And by the way, he did announce that he's running for president, guys. So, you get some more of that if you want. But You know, people, Putin's evil. Putin's the worst. He's the worst guy ever. The guy on the right triggers you, but these criminals on the left don't. Congratulations, you have been successfully controlled by the TV media in Hollywood. You really have. You have no clue who those people are. They are freaking evil. I am telling you right now. And they don't care about you at all. In fact, they would call you a useless eater. That's pretty much what they think about you. So, I don't know. But you know, Russia did mention that they were going to use nukes, just going to blow up everybody. It says, but now we shall surely burn in nuclear fire, said NATO. LOL, said Putin. LMAO. No, that's not really the case. It's that they don't have the economic capacity to wage a war, but they can use the nukes that they have. So that's the threat that Russia has. And that's what they don't like. The fact that Russia has that nuclear option all the time as a threat always is a don't F with me switch, right? For the rest of the nations. And this is the dirty game that they're playing because NATO's trying to sneak the weapons on their back door. So they go, okay, Russia, you might have intercontinental ballistic missiles, but you know what we have? We have short-range missiles right on your border. So in 15 minutes, you'll get a package in Moscow, which might take over an hour to get to Washington, D.C. Do you understand the problem? It is NATO that is encroaching like the Soviet Union did during the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's the problem. And NATO is, the New World Order. The globalist. It's official U.S. government site updated under the Biden administration instructs Americans to social distance and wear masks in the event of nuclear explosion. When you have reached a safe place, try to maintain a distance of at least 6 feet apart between yourself and people who are not part of your household. If possible, wear a mask when you're sheltered with people who are not part of your household. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to matter. Meanwhile, things actually are, escalating. Have escalated, right? This is an interesting thing. Former Japanese Prime Minister thinks Japan should consider hosting nukes as deterrent. And you know what? I don't know if we want the Japanese to have, given they went crazy years ago, but I think they've been neutered in a lot of ways. So here's the thing. Japan is only allowed to have a defense force. They can't have an actual standing army, supposedly, whatever. And they're not a nuclear power because of that, because of the way they acted and the tyranny they rained upon people at World War II and prior to that as they built their empire. So yeah, escalation for sure. And meanwhile, in Poland, we have can we enter? Yes. Can we enter? We can't enter, you racist. Because apparently a Nigerian medical student from Poland-Ukraine border told me that she has been waiting 7 hours to cross. She says border guards are stopping Black people and sending them to the back of the queue, saying they have to let Ukrainians through first. Back of the line, please. We have to let Ukrainians through. And, of course, arrived in Poland, free cakes and water, as well as transport and accommodations are offered to the Ukrainians crossing the border. Must be a good feeling to be born as white. Well, I mean, why don't you go back to your country? The fact that they're accepting Ukrainians is, I think, pretty nice. They don't have to do that either. Polish border guards listening to non-white Ukrainian refugees explain that they grew up in Ukraine are Ukrainian too. Meanwhile, the world is about to understand the meaning of weak men create hard times. You're about to understand even more so after this clip.
When you take it, it's just a picture. What about people? Lights, camera, action! It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Am I coming in clear?
You should open your mouth a little wider when you speak.
Hey, Mom, I said, am I coming in clear?
I want to be very clear.
I want to be very clear.
Let me be clear. Great. He's completely unharmed.
I'm famous. I'm a TV star. Wait till the kids back home hear about this.
We don't trust their promises.
Small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views.
There are now reports a similar protest is being planned in the United States.
I never thought my life could be anything but catastrophe.
Let's not kid ourselves. Joe is shot.
He's blocking all the chocolate.
The suspense is terrible.
He's gonna go this time.
I hope it'll last.
Go on, boy. Go on.
My job, especially as a woman, and the first woman to go as far as I did.
Show pop.
It happens every time. They all become blueberries.
If you are wise, you'll listen to me.
Don't care how I want it now.
Like the Oompa Loompa Loompa Dee Doo.
Yeah, synergy. It is tiresome, right? But that's why we got the memes, man. The meme magic will save us. And I can't believe it's World War III season already. I still have my COVID decorations up. I know a lot of you are thinking that. But I'm going to lay this out for you so you understand it. So this goes in phases. Now, we've had World War I and then World War II, and you're right there, between World War II or right before World War III. And then comes World II War, and then World War Tokyo Drift, and then World and War, and then World 7 and War 8. So just be prepared, though. And then, of course, a classic. But, you got to wonder, aliens watching season 2020 of The Earth, when it went from pandemic to World War III in less than 2 episodes, you got to wonder, they got to be a little miffed. They're like, what? It's like when Game of Thrones sped up, It seems like there needed to be some steps in between there, right? Of course, the reality is that the COVID thing is that would have happened if we didn't do all of the nonsense that we did, right? And the studies, well, we'll get to that. WW3, COVID. Yeah. And meanwhile, do you notice a pattern? It's crazy or something. It's like plague and smallpox, rabies vaccines distribution begins in 1913. On average, people vaccinated 6 to 12 times. World War I breaks out. 1914. Influenza, aka Spanish flu, sweeps the world in 1918, killing an estimated 50 million people. Of course, during World War II, begins in 1939 and 1942. Citizens received typhoid, smallpox, and tetanus vaccines. Influenza and polio pandemic sweep the world, killing millions. World War III, 2020, global pandemic is declared 99% survivability rate. 2021, a global experimental vaccine program is initiated. 2022, Russian, Ukraine threaten world order, and World War III seems to be imminent. Let all of this sink in. History repeats itself because the upper echelon have no originality. They'll continue to use the same tactics, and yeah, they do. They just circle back. They're like old Saki. They circle back. That's exactly what they did. I grew up, and as a tween or early teen, it might have been 13 or something, during the PC era in the 90s. but it didn't take. No one liked it. That's why Bill Maher started his show. Like his original show that was on CBS, I believe, before he got booted because he talked trash about George Bush and everyone was all pro, troops in war. Again, the propaganda that got built up. And what did they do? They used Vietnam as the reason to do that because they treated people so poorly during Vietnam or after Vietnam. And it was an overcorrection. But sometimes you're going to wonder if those things are like I said, purposeful. All the propaganda movies I was watching, it's crazy. It's crazy to look back on your life and just wonder. So, meanwhile, back in Canada, Justin Trudeau has stated Russia's actions are an affront to the democratic principles that generations of Canadians have fought to protect. An affront, I tell you. We must make sure that the Ukraine people, like all people, are free to determine their own future. And we must stand firmly against authoritarianism. I don't know. Someone needs to tell him something. Anyone got a mirror? A little compact mirror will help. It should be just fine. Canadian protests their government demanding freedom. Their deputy prime minister has their bank account seized and criminalized the protesters. Then she marches in the streets for Ukrainian freedom. Yeah, buddy. So I'm not cheering on Putin, but he might not be the bad guy here. He might not be the bad guy. It's hard to say. You figure it out. What I do know is right now China is China's preparing for war too. I mean, hell, if you do that with kids today in the West, I mean, you're going to get some complaints, right? Kids aren't allowed to play with guns, and this has been a long time coming. In a nice suburban neighborhood just outside of town, my stepson with my first wife, he got in trouble for bringing a tiny clear plastic water gun to school. The little tiny squirt guns. He didn't know. Had to go home for the day. Zero tolerance policy. Do you understand how that is? It's like you don't consider any factors. You don't make any judgments. You don't say anything to the character or morality of the child. You just treat him like that is a horrible, sinful thing. The toy gun, and all guns are horrible and sinful and evil. Because school violence or something? Someone got shot in a school once? I don't know. I do know over in the UK that British soldiers demand that the armed forces introduce vegan uniforms. Whatever that's supposed to do. And the U.S. Army is pushing mandatory gender pronoun training. So I'm sure we'll be well prepared for this new World War III coming. But hey, congratulations to Germany for not being the country that caused World War III. You did it! The first time ever in the history of the world wars. When we get back to two world war or whatever, we'll see where Germany's standing there. War 8. I'm sure they'll have screwed up again, but for now, I mean, they're pretty psyched. And Germany fighting along the British and American soldiers for the first time in a war. How do you fellow allies? How do you fellow allies? And here we have some news about that global new world, order thing, that global homo thing, that elite, group, or I don't know if they're elite, but they're rich, powerful, influential people who get to dictate how you think and feel and live your life. I don't know if you know, but Ukraine supports them.
Ukrainian parliament member wants you to know she's not just fighting for Ukraine, but also this new world order.
For the rest of us that aren't Ukrainians, I think the world, quite frankly, Kira, is surprised by the will of the Ukrainian people to stand up and fight. Are you?
Well, I'm not surprised. We have been fighting Putin for the last 8 years, and we had 3 revolutions in our country when we did not agree with what was going on with the direction of where we're moving in. But right now, it's a critical time because we know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order for the democratic countries. We knew that we are the shield for the Europe.
Not the best way to sell your war. You should stick to outdated pictures of your president, completely made up hero stories that trigger people's Marvel brainwashing, and maybe some more censorship just to prove how democratic we really are over here. Lockdowns and pharmaceutical mandates, just like the founding fathers intended.
Yeah. And of course, some surprisingly, this, I mean, not really surprisingly from Fox, but will not be the majority of their coverage, I'm sure. But they actually had some truth speaking over there.
Doug McGregor, a former senior advisor to the Secretary of Defense, thank you for joining us. Why do you think Putin is doing this? What is his end game?
Well, Vladimir Putin is carrying through on something that he's been warning us about, at least for the last 15 years, which is that he will not tolerate U.S. forces or their missiles on his borders, much as we would not tolerate Russian troops and missiles in Cuba. And we ignored him, and he finally acted. He was not going to allow Ukraine under any circumstances to join NATO. And what's happened now is that the battle in eastern Ukraine is really almost over. All the Ukrainian troops there are being largely surrounded and cut off. You have a concentration down in the southeast of 30 to 40,000 of them. And if they don't surrender within the next 24 hours, I suspect that the Russians will ultimately annihilate them. That's why Zelensky is meeting with Putin.
There you have it. That's why Zelensky is meeting with Putin. But let's hear another expert, an unlikely expert, but someone that take what they say with a grain of salt. I mean, I streamed yesterday before I went into work over on All Minus One. And hey guys, if you're new here, go sub to my channel, All Minus One. And that's me separately from Tank. Obviously Tank's not here today, but and it's where I take things a lot more seriously. But I talked about this and how this is just a dialectic. It's the geopolitical dialectic. This has been set up for a long period of time. This happened under the globalist building and unification of the UN and the division of the two powers of the East and the West between communism and capitalism that's meant to create a synthesized or synthetic society, a fake plastic controlled society, a society that is engineered, right? Socially engineered, and they're getting what they want. It is time for the East to gain power now. That's what's going on. You're going to see China move up. You're going to see Russia its economy build up a bit more. And I think Europe might not be as bad, but the U.S. is going to suffer a lot and on purpose because we like our freedom here and we like our guns. So they can't quite. They have to choke us out here. So that's why I always say, get prepared. But in any case, let's play this video.
Biden against Putin, Putin against this, so this and that. It's all a show because they all, under Klaus Schwab, want the same thing. Cripple the world economy, make you bankrupt, and then in the end, make you happy by just giving you a little bit so you can survive. And, while they are in their jet setting, in their elite paradises, you can be jerking off in your virtual reality cage. And that's about it. So I hope I gave you a full perspective because I have to rush now. I have another show soon. But I would like to people to understand that it's very important now to be prepared for what is about to happen. So my new book is not only an essay you're going to see, because half of this book almost is also manual to prepare.
All right. Well, if you want to check out his book, go check out the man's book. But in any case, what he's saying is not wrong. If we were actually against Putin, we wouldn't be buying oil from them. We would be cutting off their pipelines and opening up ours. This is about the environmentalist agenda, which is just to really just make people put themselves in their own poverty by not using energy, basically shackling themselves out of fear of destroying the earth. Like, I mean, I get that mass industrial pollution is bad, but like we've got a good handle over most of that. The earth is massive. It will repair itself. I always remind myself of the George Carlin skit, the joke. He talks about plastic. He's like, it'll be here in 1,000,000 years, but you won't, and the earth will be fine. Everything will work out. But another one, it's not just Schwab, there's all these people, George Soros here, when asked in 1994 by the New Republic reporter to describe his power and influence in the former Soviet states, he replied, just right that the former Soviet empire is now called the Soros Empire. By 1995, Soros says he has completed phase 1 of his agenda of opening up closed societies. At this point, that he moved on to phase 2, making open societies more viable. So, yeah, I mean, there's that, right? But no one's actually plotting any of this stuff out. They're not really conspiring, right? Tim Pool said the other day, it's just emergent. It's just emergent. And I would grant that it is emergent for spiritual reasons and stuff. And of course, there gets to be a zeitgeist. And when you're pumping it down from the top and it's all across the airways and it's meant to brainwash you, yeah, it's not so emergent. It's more like the seed was laid and few are able to escape it, right? It's there, it's implanted, it's subliminal.
Everything we think we know about our leaders, our society, and our relations with the rest of the world is wrong. America is facing two major challenges. One is the Chinese Communist Party. However, the most significant threat comes from within.
You're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world.
Okay, Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about.
We've already seen evidence of how the elites want to run the United States. They're modeling themselves after Chinese autocracy.
For over a decade, the people's...
So, I mean, there's that. There's the whole China angle, right? And China will grow more powerful with Russia. So will India. This is what's coming, guys. And the Middle East won't mind. What they really like the UAE. See, they work with the West, right? If all of the Middle East was like the UAE, the globals would be happy. But the thing is that a lot of those areas they have a lot more fundamentalist people there. So the UAE has fundamentalist people, but they have liberal laws and to some degree for their people, for outsiders at least. Or you can think of there's a few other Islamic nations like Indonesia and Singapore and stuff like that. So, anyways. Here we have tempting, but I'm going to go spread of Russian propaganda online. And I don't really mean to spread propaganda here, guys, but let's hear this man out here.
Мы видим, как многие евроатлантические страны фактически пошли по пути отказа от своих корней, в том числе и от христианских ценностей, составляющих основу западной цивилизации. Отрицаются нравственные начала и любая традиционная идентичность. Национальная, культурная, религиозная или даже половая. Проводится политика, ставящая на один уровень многодетную семью и однополое партнерство, веру в Бога или веру в сатану. Эксцессы политкорректности доходят до того, что всерьез говорится о регистрации партий, ставящих своей целью пропаганду педофилии. Люди во многих европейских странах стыдятся и боятся говорить о своей религиозной принадлежности. Праздники отменяют уже. Или называют их как-то по-другому, стыдливо прячут саму суть этого праздника, нравственные основы этих праздников. И эту модель пытаются агрессивно навязывать всему миру. Убежден, это прямой путь к деградации и примитивизации, глубокому демографическому и нравственному кризису.
This is the other problem with the East. This traditional old world view. Remember, the Ukrainian lady said, the New World Order. The New World Order. I'm here to help establish a new world order in the Euro. Some years ago, the Amero was on the table. It will come back, folks. The Amero will come back when they're ready, when it's time, when the borders eroded enough, when the and again, these people, they'll work with the cartels and whatever else. They don't care. They just want their objectives done. Same reason why they work with Antifa. So I don't know if this is what he's actually saying there. I have friends I could send this to and have them translate it for me. But that is a perspective, and I'm hearing that through Orthodox friends I know who go to the Russian Orthodox Church, that Putin is bringing in the old morality and Christianity and all this stuff. I don't know. I don't really think so. I don't think that how that really is going to work out. I think that the world is going to continue to degenerate. But I don't know. I'm just some guy that does a show based around memes. So what do I know? I mean, I'm almost definitely sharing memes made by Nazis. So, is it ethical to source dank memes from Nazi minds? Yes, it is. It's worth the laughs, at least in my book. I mean, and you guys didn't know what Nazis are, so I don't really trust your ability to judge any site as Nazis, because you tend to take the side of Nazis, but you think you're communists. So it's weird, or whatever. You think you're racial justice warriors, whatever you think you are. So I don't know. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. So if you think I'm a Nazi because I see the crazy, whatever. Who cares? Your opinion does not matter.
No, shut up! Shut the f*** up!
From John Talks, guys. Keep calm. Keep calm. It's all BS, ain't it? Don't you know that yet? Don't you know the thing? Look, pretty soon you'll be able to get a vaccine that will prevent war. Then you'll find out it doesn't actually prevent war or stop war from spreading worldwide, but with 2 doses, it can make wars less severe. With the 4th dose, if war arrives, you'll be less likely to die. I'm just waiting for Bill Gates to be a war expert and speak up. That was the response. It's nice. Very nice of Candace or her people. The problem is not that there is a lack of money, food, water, or land. The problem is that we've given control of these resources to psychopaths. Why do you folks keep thinking that voting in people who don't have any morals, or their morals are the moral of might makes right, power, that those are like good people to to run things. That's just, it's insanity. It's absolute insanity. But I don't know. I'm a different kind of guy, different kind of guy. But what's really pushing this is the voting. Look at the voting. Look at this. Okay, we know people of color, they all vote Democrat. It's not fully true, but these are the things, right? Then you have the women, mostly, and then men, and then white people, and then college educated white people, and then non-college educated white people, and then white men. I'm gonna make this a racial thing, guys. I didn't really care about that. More than anything, though, there's a certain group or groups of people that are captivated by their emotions more than others. They're not very logical. I mean, and some of them, look at this. Look at this. Just put that. Do you really think that someone who can't even lift a trash bag and who falls over should be voting? I don't know. I'm going to defer to an expert on this. I'm going to defer to Tim Pool. He has a much bigger show than I do, so I would assume he knows.
We are headed towards, my friends, and it's very simple, communism. And you can blame the women.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. So shut your effing face, brother fucker. Shut up, ladies. Sick and tired of hearing you complain about everything all the time. You're never satisfied. It's a disease. Just own it. Be self-aware. Be self-aware. Let the men have it.
On your lips, fuck that, come on your lips, and come on your tits and get ready. Cause this shit's about to get heavy. I just settled all my lawsuits. Fuck you, Debbie! Now this looks like a job for me. So everybody, just follow me. Cause we need a little controversy. Cause it feels so empty without me. I said this looks like.
Imagine
No
you
copyright
just came
strikes.
back from a workout and I am in your car. What would you do?
Guys, you can't get distracted. You can't let them ladies distract you. Stay focused, baby. Just flow on. Ruin everything. Not really. But sacrifice for a better tomorrow. Think about that. Because that looks good. But what looks good to your eyes is bad for your heart. I can tell you that. It's probably bad for your brain. It's bad for your soul. Stay away. It's danger. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. But before we get out of here, guys, I want to play you a little song I thought you would enjoy. And, just sit back and listen.
And I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions upon people of the very worst type. And I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife. And then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
And guys, if you think that's racist and you don't like it, I don't know. You can cry me a river. That's all I have to say. That's the Memecast News, guys. All right, guys, that's it. That's the end of the show. all by myself. That went pretty well. That was flat out 2 hours. No Tank interrupting, man. He's so stupid. Should never let him come on here. And he set up some of this stuff for me. So, I mean, and you know, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back. I should be back next Wednesday. I don't know if I'm going to stream on All Minus One on Sunday this week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be working. So if I do stream, it'll be early, but I'm going to try and stream Friday like I did the other day, Tuesday. Was yesterday? It was yesterday. So I'm a busy guy, you know, busy guy. So anyways, I'm going to get out of here. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been the Ends Justify the Memes. And remember, those ends always justify those memes.